Hi, thank you so much for clicking on the video, and I hope everyone is doing really well. To continue the theme from last week's video, I am still talking about laxatives. I don't think people take this topic serious enough, but it is a very serious topic, and I think more and more people need to be talking about it, and people need to become aware that it is a problem and that regularly taking laxatives can turn into a more serious problem. And so I'm still going to be talking about laxatives today. When a person wants to get rid of unwanted calories, lose weight, feel thin, or feel empty, they sometimes turn to laxatives as a way to achieve those goals. Laxatives are often misused and overused after binging. In the video I put out last week, I covered why I started taking laxatives in the first place. And if you haven't seen that video, maybe go watch it before finishing this video just to get a better understanding and a more in-depth reason as to why I or a person might start taking laxatives and start to abuse laxatives. Just like my eating disorder, my laxative addiction started from something innocent. I was prescribed laxatives by my doctor because I was diagnosed with an internal digestion issue. But the more I found I was taking them, the more I increased the dosage and the frequency of taking laxatives. I think I got to a point that probably on some subconscious level, I did just want to lose weight, and I definitely wanted to achieve that feeling of emptiness. Feeling empty was something that consumed my every waking moment of my life. I thought about it, and it was just something that I wanted and I craved. And to desire the feeling of emptiness is in many ways indescribable. It's very hard to explain to someone who's never experienced that want or desire what it feels like to just want to feel completely empty. And for a really long time, that is all I wanted, was to feel empty. And I found that I could achieve that very quickly with overusing laxatives. It got to the point where that feeling and that want to feel empty, it's what drove me. It really was the only thing keeping me alive. I lived to be empty. And like I said, it got to the point where I could just count on laxatives to do that for me. The naive belief that laxatives are an effective form of weight loss is an absurd myth. Many people believe by taking laxatives, it forces the food out of your system before the body can absorb and store calories. This is completely and totally untrue. Laxatives stimulate the large intestine, forcing it to empty. The thing is, anything you've consumed has already passed through the small intestine before reaching the large intestine. And when food passes through the small intestine, that is where nutrients and calories are absorbed. So the idea that laxatives push and get rid of unwanted calories is a lie, because by the time the large intestine is stimulated and it begins to empty, calories have already been absorbed through the small intestine. Any weight loss a person may experience while taking laxatives is probably just water weight, minerals, electrolytes, indigestible fiber, and waste that has been stored in the colon. Laxatives basically just push out anything extra that has been sitting in the colon. That's why people take laxatives when they're constipated, because there's a force holding waste and other components in the colon, and laxatives force it out. It's not a means to get rid of anything you ingest. The bowel movement that laxatives create actually contains very little food, very little fat, and very little calories. If a person experiences weight loss while taking laxatives, like I said, chances are a lot of what you're losing is water weight, which means the moment you rehydrate yourself, you're going to regain any weight that was lost. Laxative abuse is extremely dangerous and in some cases deadly. Overuse can lead to health and body complications and can lead to life-threatening issues. Laxatives flush out a lot of liquid from the body, which means that by overusing laxatives, you are dehydrating your body. For many people, they refuse to rehydrate after bowel movement. These kind of forced bowel movements put a strain on the organs and in some cases, deadly consequences. Other than death, some other side effects of dehydration are tremors, weakness, blurry vision, fainting, and kidney damage. The thing about dehydration is that it requires medical treatment, which means in most cases, hospitalization. Laxative abuse can lead to electrolyte and mineral imbalances. These kind of imbalances can directly affect the nerves and the muscles of the body, causing them to not function properly. Our organs are fragile, and this kind of disturbance can really mess with our organs. In many cases, this causes the colon and/or heart to stop working. Laxative abuse can oftentimes turn to laxative dependency. This kind of dependency can result in the colon no longer being affected by a normal dose of laxatives, whether it's synthetic or natural, meaning the colon will need an overuse of laxatives in order to have a bowel movement. In simpler terms, the body becomes dependent upon the abuse of laxatives. This kind of stimulant abuse can result in internal organ damage. Some of the damages are a stretched or lazy colon, colon infection, irritable bowel syndrome, and liver damage. If you continue to overuse, abuse, and misuse laxatives, you are running the risk of developing colon cancer. Recovery from any addiction requires a lot of time, a lot of hard work, a lot of struggle, and a lot of self-reflection. Recovery from laxative is extremely uncomfortable, both mentally and physically. Physically, your body has learned to depend and rely on this foreign substance, and now it has to learn to live without it. It also has to learn how to function without it. You can expect to experience water retention, extremely uncomfortable bloating, and extreme constipation. Mentally, you have created a mindset that relies on laxatives. You might not think this, but when you're recovering from laxative abuse, withdrawal is definitely a thing that is experienced. I think because humans are such impatient creatures, we always want quick results and we want results now. We kind of forget that our body was designed with a purpose. Every single element to our body has a purpose. And unfortunately, we always seem to think we know better. And so we try to control every aspect of our life, including our own bodies, when we don't have to. Our body has a job and it is just trying to do our job. And when you abuse something like laxatives, you're saying, I know better than my own natural body. And we have organs that are designed to do what a laxative does. Our body just sometimes does it slower than we would want. We have to learn to take care of our bodies and show our bodies respect, and it will show respect back by doing its job properly. We need to stop interfering and trying to control everything and just sort of let nature run its course. I think also we forget that we are part of nature, and therefore we need to allow everything to work together, including ourselves in nature. So it's important to not put things into our body that interfere with the natural order. Anyway, thank you so much for clicking on the video. I really appreciate it. If you learned anything, if you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. For more videos about eating disorders and diets and health and nutrition and all that good stuff, please subscribe, and I will see you next time.